Hey there! Did you get the bubble tubes from Spirit and hate the fact that they're only red and only blue? Yeah, I did too. So you know what I did? I made them RGB. So now you've got the red and the orange and green. And a bunch of other colors. Look at that pink. Well, it's kind of it's a purplish pink. It's pretty cool. But here is a how-to on how to make your bubble tubes not just red or blue. So, now that you've seen what it will look like in the end, this is a we're gonna tear this apart and we're gonna change it to RGB. The taller tubes from Spirit that were the bubble tubes are red, and the shorter ones are blue. And most stores had 4 red ones and 2 blue ones. The 2 blue were back in the walkthrough, and the red ones were up in the front walkthrough. The red ones are obviously a lot longer, and the blue ones are shorter, but for our display in Dallas when we get there is going to be, we're going to use some of these for a new Frankenstein display. My wife really loves Frankenstein and the whole Frankenstein story, and so we want to make a lab. And so a lot of the stuff that Spirit had this year was perfect for that. But red and blue, the blue would have been cool, but red had nothing to do with the lab. It still would have looked cool, you know. Normals wouldn't have cared, but I did, and I needed green, and like purple and stuff. So probably what'll end up happening is a couple of these. We're gonna put all 6 of them will be in the scene, as far as I know right now in my mind. Probably there will be some green ones and some purple ones, and then maybe a couple of blue ones. Is there water bubble tubes in a Frankenstein's lab? I don't know. Were you there? I wasn't. So we're gonna do it anyways. Who cares? What we're gonna do is we're gonna change out the bulb in here for an RGB light. And so what I got, you have to get 2 pieces to do this. And I got them both off Amazon, so that helps a lot, obviously. There's several different types of these bases that you can get, so it's kind of up to you. I found that this base was a little bit easier and it seemed to be a little more secure. And then the light itself. So these lights, and of course I will put a description up on, links in the description, of course, as usual. These are the RGB. They are the spotlight, and I wanted to see if it actually said the type of the actual name. I will put the name in the right down here, right there, of the base that you have to look for. But the bulb looks like this. And it looks like that. It's got those 2 little, points right there. There's another one of these where it just fits. Fits into the base. This one you put it in and you turn it, so it's a little more secure. And I liked that since they were. I mean, they're not going to be outside, but if they were, it still would probably be fine. So they are 5 watts, and they are RGB, and they do come with a remote. So the base you have to get, though, maybe this little box will tell me the base, maybe. It is a G. There. Let's see if it'll. I just dropped them. Look at that. GU10 is the base name, and you can tell that by the little twisty in there. So when you put it in there, it'll look like this. Got your leads. You got your, things here. Kind of the cool thing with the leads, I don't even know if I even checked to see if there was a positive and a negative. Usually there is, and usually the positive is the one with the writing on it, and there is writing on this one right here. So we're going to say that. Sometimes they'll have red, obviously red and black. Sometimes they'll have a stripe, things like that. But usually if there's both the same color, it's the one with the writing. So you know what? This how-to's already going better than my spinning disc projector how-to. For some reason, I was in a real I don't know, a weird spot when I made that how-to. I knew I needed to make it, and I wanted to do it before I put it all away, and it was just a weird how-to, and you're looking at me talking to you through the thing because the camera's up here. But yeah, I don't know. I was in like a weird place, and I just kept messing up, and I don't rehearse these things. I don't script them, and so it just, there was a lot of, I mean, if you saw the editing footage, oh my god, it's terrible. So once you unscrew this, there's a plate on here with 4 screws. I took them off because who wants to watch that? You take the plate off, and there is a little spinny thing right here for the power cord that releases the tension on it, and it slides right off. So set that aside. Obviously, don't do this with water in it, because that would suck. It is sealed. It's sealed very well. I'm very impressed. This has 3 pieces of glass right here, or Plex, that is very thick. I mean, I would say this thing is close to an inch thick with the 3 pieces. So Spirit and China did a very good job of sealing this up, considering how much weight is in these tubes. I don't know how much water goes in the taller tubes, but I know it took a long time to get the water out. And also, before the end of this, I will show the pump that you should get. If you didn't get it from Spirit, I will show you the pump that you can buy to get the water out of these. And it's for swimming pools. And it works really, really well. So, but that's another, I will put that at the end of this. So in this box, you'll see here, you've got the motor. This is the pump. And this, of course, is your power supply. It goes into a 12-volt converter, which is this little black box right here. Let's see if I can zoom in on that. Let's see if I can get a little light on it. A little more light than my above light here. So you see that, you've got the box right there. This is the 12-volt converting box, and of course you have your cords. This 12-volt box, well, you know what? Let's just pull it off. Well, the other things I'm going to do is I can never seem to find my snips, and I'm going to buy like 30 of them when I move, and I'm just going to keep them all around my garage because I never seem to be able to see where they are. So this shows you a little bit more of the wiring situation we have here. So obviously you've got your wires coming, you know, your 110, and the 110 does go in directly to the pond pump. You want to leave that alone, obviously. This is regular. I mean, you can use this wire right here going into this, but you're going to cut off this box because this box is a 12-volt converter. This is 110. So you can see, obviously, by the wire size as well. It does not run, this loses all the voltage, obviously. So basically, the first thing you're going to want to do is to get a little more access in there to get the light out, you are just going to need to cut it. Now, I always like to leave, on the things that I cut off, I always like to leave a little bit of lead. I probably didn't leave as much of a long one as I needed to. But this 12-volt converting box, you can use it for something else. If you wanted to convert 110 down to 12-volt, you can use this box. So now I will have 6 of these boxes. So put it in your LED kits, put it in your, your electrical boxes so you can keep it for later. This is a free 12-volt converter. And also a free red LED light as well. There is a little cotter pin down here. And if you have really good fingernails, you can do this, or you can ruin your fingers themselves. Let's see. Let's get a just get needle nose pliers. Why mess around? So ply them together. Push that cotter pin down. Obviously, go ahead and save it. Put it back in the light. Just a little cotter pin here. Just put it back in the light. 'Cause you never know. Part of this I really wanted to work in a certain way, and it did not. And I'll show you in a minute what I mean by that. I was really kind of bummed that, and I'm sure if I spent a little more time with these, I probably would be able to figure it out, but let's just set this aside because the cotter pin's not going back in. But now you have a 12-volt light. You have a 12-volt red light that you can now use for something else, and then obviously the other 2 are blue lights. So set that aside. So what I was talking about was this, you see that bar right there? Well, there's 2 screws on either side of the thing. So I said, oh man, I can just move this down because this light doesn't really fit in there. It doesn't, if you look at where it's at, if it's right on top that bar, I'm like, ah man, if I could get a couple inches on it, that's what she said, then I could move that down. Well, I unscrewed this thing, and I don't know if it's actually inside the Plex on the other side, or if they glued it or whatever, but it is stuck in there. So one of these that I'll do, I'll probably try to get it off, you know, and try to work on it a little bit more, and probably break it in the process, and then I'll have to jimmy rig another way to do it. But what I did with this is, once I got it all wired up, is I took the bulb and I put it in there like that, and I just bent this forward. I just pulled it, and then I just kind of wedged it in there, and it stays just fine. This thing doesn't move. So it doesn't need to be in there any more secure than that. The idea of us trying to move this down enough to where that would be in there tight without having to put something on this to keep it on there, why not just bend this? So what I'm going to tell you is just bend it a little bit. And you can put it wherever you kind of want. I mean, you can try to put it on the other side. I would just put it right here. Keep it away from this, from the thing there. Let's see if I can maybe move this camera a little bit, so I can get a little more in there. There we go. I'm trying to watch the camera at the same time, so I'm at least seeing what you're seeing, so I know where I'm pointing at. You know, keep it away from this tube, because I don't think this thing got hot, but let's just say it will, and just keep it away from it. It really doesn't matter where you put this, because the light is with the water, it disperses the light through the tube, so you're not going to have that issue of any kind of thing like that. So this is actually a really straightforward thing. You can do one of 2 things. You can take, and I think I actually did this. I may have wire strips or wire nuts. Is just to undo all of this and just wire up the wire nuts. So let's do that, because I had a couple other ways to attach this, and I like the wire nuts idea the best. Do I have wire nuts? I need to get more wire nuts. Let's see here. Ooh, let's use the 2 blue ones. I think the blue ones will fit. You do have 3 wires going into this, so you may need to go up a level. Maybe those 2 black ones. Oh yeah, you know what? Let's use the 2 black ones. Let's see if I can find a size on here. Do they have a size? Do they say what they are? Oh, I'm not reading that. My eyes are already going cross-eyed. Well, it's this size. So yeah, let's just. I don't think I can pull this off without. Oh, I can. Look at that. That's a bad wire nut job then, if I can pull that off. Oh, nope, can't pull that one off. Oh, maybe. Ha! That's awesome. Little less work. So, nix that part where I cut that off further down. I would cut this. I would just wait and not cut it, and just pull it off as all one piece. So. Negate that part that I said back there about the little box. So just undo the wire nuts and take that box and light off, and then you've got a little more wire lead anyways. So now you already have obviously your red and your blacks, and you've already know which one is which is cool. So now we said that this one, the writing. So the writing is on this one. You know what? Let's expose a little bit more of that. If you don't have one of these, I can't talk to you anymore. Literally the easiest and coolest thing ever. What is this? Oh, it's like an extra piece of acrylic. Hey, thanks, Spirit. I didn't really need that, but oh, you know what? I bet you it was supposed to. There's little pieces of these inside here, little braces, but cool. I needed more garbage in my life. So we'll put that, and we'll wire that up a little bit. Now, what I always do, and you should always do this, is always test. Don't do all that work of crimping and getting the wire nut on there and doing all this stuff if you haven't. What the heck is wrong with this? If you don't test it before you're done. Obviously, with 2 wires, you know just to switch them if it didn't work. Light comes on. Don't do that for too long because pumps shouldn't work with no water. But that did come on with a purple light. So that means our wiring is good. Oh, I already misplaced the black thingies. Where did I put them? Where'd you guys put them? Oh, they're right here. Don't come into my garage and start taking stuff from me. Come to your house, start taking your tools, because I need them. So let's pull this in a little bit more. If you want, they actually make, if you feel like it, you know, like I said, if you're going to use this outdoors, fine. I don't really know how you would, because the top of these things is just an acrylic disc, and it does not seal. We're haunters. We'll figure out a way to seal this thing, but then you can't get the water rack out, so be warned if you do this, because the water will eventually start to evaporate. You got to get back in this and put more water in it, or if you want to move it, you cannot lift these without taking the water out. You will probably break the tube, and you'll get all wet. But if you do want to use these outside, they do make, and I've had some of these. These are, I don't know which way. There we go. These are waterproof caps. So what they have is they have that little you know, butt thing right there. But then they also have like a grease in there. They've got it's got some kind of goop in there. Oh, wipe sealant in and around connectors and conductors. So it has like a sealant in there. It does not say what the sealant is. Cool. But yeah, so I did these for some of my outdoor stuff. They're expensive, so only really get them if you really need them. But these will go on here too, and they do that sealant on there, and it makes them completely waterproof as well. But since this thing is inside this box and completely sealed, like if the water comes in, it's going to go around this little edge and go down that there's like there's a lip here. So I don't ever understand other than it leaking. And if this thing starts to leak, you got a bigger problem than your electrical anyways. So we'll just wire nut these together, make sure they're good and tight. Always give the wires a little tug. Make sure they do that. This is super quick. Literally, we are done. So that's a pretty cool how-to, huh? My thing says 17 minutes, but that's because you like hanging out with me. I'll edit a few things out of this, but you put the little connector back on. Turn it. See, there's this little thing here that you turn, and it tightens it up. I did not know. I couldn't figure out how to get it off, and I was trying to like pry it off, and all I had to do was unscrew that. That was pretty cool. You can zip tie that back onto the brace there if you want to. That's up to you. But as of right now, this thing is stuck in there. And you put it back, put your screws back on, and you get a RGB. I think the remote. Oh, I think, yeah, Practical Series 2. So one of the cool things about this remote is it has a timer function. So you can have the light go on for an hour, you press it a bunch of times, or yeah, so plus an hour, minus an hour. This has 24 hours, I guess. And you can do obviously the on and off, the brightness, your different colors, and then your, I believe this is like a flash. The C is a flash and the S is a fade, and you can kind of tell by the lines on there that'll say that that it's a flash. And it does do white. It is really cool with the white. And then there's like an off-white and stuff like that. But the red, blue, and the green are obviously really nice looking. The purple's really nice. The pink looks good. And And just to have it around on just in my garage and stuff, I just put it on the fade and it just cycles through like all our other RGB things that we have. But also one of the things that I do is I take and I write on the back. I have so many of these remotes that once I find out what it's for, I start writing it on the back with a Sharpie. So I have no more. This one's going to be pretty obvious. This is to my new Pixel Christmas tree. And so this is a very obvious remote, but I'm still going to write on the back that it goes to the Pixel tree. So that's another little hint. What did I say I was going to tell you at the very end of this? I don't know. I guess I'll find out, and then I'll edit it in right here. Okay, so I said that I was going to show you what pump you need, and of course I'll put a description or a link in the description. I gotta stop saying that. But this is a pool cover pump, and it's actually the one that they actually give to the Spirit employees. Obviously, this is 3 months late, but if you didn't get one of these, they weren't necessarily supposed to sell them to you or give them to you. I don't know why, but that's how they had to get the water out of these things. They should have one in every store. So if they didn't, these are not very expensive. I think they are $40 on Amazon, and they are 850 gallons per hour. So this thing will definitely not take an hour to empty one of those tubes. Probably take about 15-20 minutes maybe. And it does come with 3 different adapters. You don't need those because you just need to take this hose. This is a 16-foot hose. So those are 6-foot tubes, obviously. So you can just take this and wherever you've got it, take this hose out. And you could always find adapters at like most home stores if you need to make this longer to get it out from even further from where you have it situated. Obviously use the hose to fill the tubes with, but then use this to take it out. So and there it is in action. And the water goes down. Just put it in there. That is the other thing that you could buy for these bubble tubes. So, any other questions with this? So here's I'll put these up on the very end here, and we can maybe make that like maybe we can make that the thumbnail, huh? That's not going to stand up. Why wouldn't it? That's weird. Oh, well, crap. So, anyways, bubble tube, RGB, conversion, super simple. If you can hook up wires, you can do this and make it way cooler than before. So, thanks for joining us on another amazing Scare Hollow how-to, and bubble on.